So here we go again. Today I'm out on the fringes of the Essex border with Hertfordshire, up in North West Essex, in the village of Clavering, which is in the sort of Saffron Walden region, and about to undertake an 8-mile or thereabouts circular, starting today from this church, St Mary and St Clement. Parking is quite tight in this village, so I just had to find a residential street. So thought I'd start the walk here. This walk is courtesy of Essexwalks.com, sorry. And it's a bit of a grey day again. Had some nice sunshine earlier as I was driving over, but as forecast, this afternoon is going to be chill with a northeasterly breeze and thus quite cold. Very April again. All we need is the hailstones, really. Hopefully not though. So, like I say, about 8 miles to do today. It's about 1:30 again. So I'm hoping to take lunch up in the village of Arkesden, which I have filmed previously on a Saturday Walkers Club walk. So let's get cracking. There's a very unusual and interesting lane leading directly into the church, hence there's no parking at the church itself. Some nice old buildings here. Leaving the church behind us now as we aim for a circular kissing gate in the corner of the cemetery. In fact, you don't go through this kissing gate because there's a sign over there indicating private land to the right, which is the direction I was going to take. The map does show that water feature down there, which is very much drying out, and it looks like the path would have gone down that lane, but let's see what turns out up here. So as we leave the churchyard, information panel here about Clavering Castle, which the foundations of are still visible. In fact, the information panel tells us that those foundations over there are not the castle, but later 12th century earthworks. Castle was built a couple of centuries before that, so they reckon. Anyway, Google that if you're interested. Robert's Castle, Clavering, apparently. Classic thatched cottages associated with this area. Seen previously on the Brent Pelham walk that I did last summer, all the Pelhams actually, and that was well, that's about 8-10 mile away, so it shows how close I am to the Hertfordshire border. Very nice part of Essex this. So that's the old post house just outside the entrance there to the churchyard. Some very twee little cottages around. Got a ford here as well on the edge of the village. As you can see, 6 feet is the marker point at its highest. Well overgrown, needs dredging by the looks of it. So at this juncture, you do a right. There is a footpath marked immediately opposite, just where the speed limit changes, but we do right here. Well, in fact, the footpath marker is in the hedge immediately opposite the footbridge there. Don't take that one. Although not marked as such, that public byway marker there is Coles Lane, or Coal Hill Lane, hence you've got Coal Hills close here. That's a more modern development. Anyway, let's get up this lane. So now we have the hawthorn coming into leaf, and the blackthorn, the white flower of it, rapidly fading away. Looked great last week. Everywhere you looked, it was like snow-covered hedges. Anyway, probably won't be around next week. And as the blackthorn fades, so the rape comes into bloom, and the smell of it as well, of course. Not quite that powerful here yet, but it is out my way. Of course, the village of Clavering is well known for being the home of Jamie Oliver's parents. They used to run, until last year, the Cricketers pub there, I believe. I see that's now been sold on. More asbestos dumped over there. Outrageous. Should a bit of road walking there. Then come off right where indicated by the finger post. As the breeze picks up a bit, got some field edge walking now. Just following the track by what's shown as Wood Hall on the map. Sun's poked out again, which is nice. I do believe that's my lunchtime destination, the village church at Arkesden, with the Union Jack at half-mast, following the unfortunate passing of the Duke. God rest his soul. Such a shame he never made 100, eh? I'd love to have seen that situation where he gets a telegram from the Queen. But that will never happen now, I suspect. Anyway, I hope this wind's not interfering with commentary. It's picking up. And what's folly over there is a cottage I filmed on the previous walk that I did here. As I say, I think that was a Saturday Walkers one, because I narrated a tale about the pudding stones, which you can Google if you wish to learn more about this village and pudding stones. Arkesden. In fact, I got the name wrong, it's Arkesden. Not sure where I got the N from. Arkesden, as this information panel here tells us. Good view of the church, which I didn't stop at last time, too pressed, but I will today. So this is another St Mary the Virgin. Just the one seat in this churchyard, and as you can see, that's chained to the tree, which doesn't say much for the area really, does it? No dedication either, but this will do. It's around about 2:15, and there's a nice yew here, giving us some protection from the breeze. So let's tuck in. So around 2:45, journey continues. This is around 2.5 miles in, this church, so just under a third of the way round. Passing the Axe and Compass, which is open 12 to 2:30 and 5:30 till 9 for external drinks. Adapted accordingly. Newly thatched cottage over there. Now join Wicken Road, or Poor Street as it formerly was known, to join the Harcamlow Way, a long distance path that I've been on many a time previously. Little monk jack over there, hidden in the brush. Funny things, aren't they? Skulking around. Not a great fan of them, to be honest. Another foreign import. Been released from Woburn, I believe it was. Hence they're the symbol of the Green Sand Ridge Walk that I did last week. Just add to the competition of our natives already, and all the damage that they do to our tree lines. We're now climbing uphill around about 3 PM to one of the high points of the day, 116 metres I think it was, about 370 foot. So as you can see, looking back at Arkesden there, we are climbing. Maybe able to hear the skylarks in the background now. And that's good to see. Don't often see that, considering the skylarks and others. Bit more height to climb. Now entering the Quendon estate, as you can see. They seem quite environmentally friendly. However, in the distance there's a bit of a scar. Yeah. Wonder if that's why they're environmentally friendly over here. Maybe we'll pass that, let's see. Wonderful. Wooden enemy. And it's this little tree margin here, it's full of them. That's why these little margins are so good. Hiding places for animals, provide respite for birds, etc, etc. And of course these tree margins provide shelter for us from the wind. Now I'm in it. You can tell, however, that just a few weeks ago this would have been a quagmire. It's a bridleway. Here you've got one of the transmission lines that comes out of the Pelhams, where I was last summer. The origin of this transmission line, I would have thought. Just reached this T-junction and we turn right here according to the GPX even. Now for the last half mile or so I have been able to hear the hum of the busy M11 over there. We're getting near to Wicken Bonhunt. Village of. The Harcamlow does go left here, probably under the M11 I'd have thought. So as I descend again from around 114-16 metres, we don't go anywhere near that scar, thankfully, but it does spoil the horizon somewhat. Pretty mundane section of walking here. Not much to report. Coming into Wicken Bonhunt. Chiff Chaff welcoming us, along with a blue tit to my side somewhere. And I just heard the old nuthatch again as well. Do sing a lot at this time of year, like many others I guess. Passing to the rear of the village church. And the Thai pub is still here, though I don't think it's open right at this moment. In fact, there are the opening hours and what's available. Okay, this is St Margaret's, Wicken Bonhunt. Pretty decent village sign. Got a pretty busy B road running through it, mind you. So the Thai cantina is also known as the Coach and Horses. So the onward journey is this bridle way, immediately opposite the pub, which is handy enough. Although, as I say, the pub's opening hours look a bit dubious. Still hear the hum of the M11 there, to my left. So at this T-junction where you encounter another rape field, do a right and then left along the hedge up there. Decent if blowy vista. Big fields now. So here we are in the little hamlet of Rickling. This is their church, All Saints. It's got a lovely spread of narcissi and daffs here. I think they're narcissi, the white ones. Wonderful. I guess that must be the war dead there. Spaced out evenly and fenced in. There's a seat there as well, interestingly, for future reference. Wonderful little church, spoilt only by a busy B road in front of it. And some Stansted jet noise. It's unusual. First style of the day. More hedge filling again, infilling, good to see. Crossing this little footbridge here, near Orchard Farm on the map. And it's been illustrated by Friends of Thatched Way, which I've never heard of. Now walking through this little copse, and just before I got here I saw 2 roe deer and a fox. So it just goes to show these little copses are very important as well. A couple of jays making a racket ahead of me. And I must say this little footpath has been well maintained. Individually sheared by the looks of it. Passing a trig point here, almost bang on the path, just before the transmission lines, and the map tells me this is 119 metres. So I do believe that to be the high point of the walk today. Strange positioning though. If that's the high point, that's the high point. Over there in the distance, where all transmission lines meet, you can see that exchange at Brent Pelham, where we were last summer. Pretty windy up here, as you'd guess. 119 metres. Lofty height of around 360, 370 foot. There's a farmer spraying this field presently, and smells like some kind of fishy substance, whatever it is he's using. Quite noticeable where he's done it and where he hasn't. Guess it's some kind of sewage. So as you can probably detect, the wind's picking up again as I approach Clavering. Not much further to go. Passing another pub en route, Fox and Hounds here, Clavering, and from the smell of it they're cooking for evening meals. The village sign at Clavering, unusually made of wood. So as a finale, this is the mission hall, what is now known as the Christian Centre, where the walk GPX started from, and there's certainly more than one parking slot here. They say there's only one slot, but you get half a dozen cars in there. So it's 8.5 mile, 3 hours 10 later, and that was a reasonable walk, not as good as last week's. Bit too bland for me in places. Nonetheless, good day's outing, and another one completed thanks to the author, essexwalks.com. And yeah, see you next time. Take care, everybody.